One, two, three, let's go!
Okay, so next thing, um, so you have been in Thailand for how many years? Five?
About five.
About
I lived there
five.
for five, but
Okay.
I would visit, just because I have family there, and I
Hmm.
would vacation. But those 5 years, I lived there.
Okay, so that 5 years is the longest time that you've been in Thailand, right? Is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what was it like when you see Thai people or foreigners interact with each other? Like, what was it like when you see Thai people treat foreigners?
Um, so obviously, I have nothing against foreigners. I mean, just from my 5 years of being there and working at the school, I made some of the greatest friends. I have met some of the greatest people. I am so fortunate to say that I literally have friends from different parts of the world,
Yes.
and it's great. And we all still keep in contact, and I miss them so much.
Yeah, me
I love
too.
the, yeah, I know. I had some of my greatest moments with those groups of people.
Hmm.
It's just so crazy, from coming from one side of the world and they're coming from another side of the world, and we're kind of meeting in the middle. And it's just, you don't think that you can have a bond or a friendship with people that you've never met before from different parts, other than your hometown or whatever. But I mean, I love my friends from
Hmm.
all over the world now. But I did notice there's some discrimination, you know.
Discrimination.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's the world, and you're still gonna have all these different feelings, but you know, I'm not talking about all Thai people, This is just from what I've seen, but sometimes you would have them kind of look down on the foreigners just because of how they spoke, or how they acted, or or how they carried themselves. But that's not on them. That's just who they are, and that's just how they grew up in their country.
Hmm.
And and vice versa, obviously, because sometimes you do have those foreigners, sorry, foreigners. You do have those foreigners are a bit headstrong, and they go to Thailand and they kind of expect everything to be about them, you know. And I'm not saying this with my friends. This is just from what I've seen, like
Okay.
elsewhere and stuff like that. It's just this is just like in passing when I do have small talk with some foreigners, and it's kind of like they use and abuse Thailand too, and say, hey, this is your country, so you should respect the Thai people as well, you know. Um, like for example, there was a foreigner, and he was this older guy, and this the way he talked about Thai women. This is what I hate to say this, but I overheard it when I was having dinner one night, and
Mm.
and I could just kind of hear him talking about Thai women, and it was really degrading, and uh, it wasn't that nice, and I I did look at him though, because I don't think he knew that I understood, but I just kind of looked at him, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
but
So can you
but
tell
yeah,
us,
but this
yeah, briefly, just briefly?
it's just just about finding a Thai wife, and
Yeah.
just like using her, and I was like, hey, Thai women everywhere, they all have feelings, and I'm sure they don't want to just pick up after you all the fucking time,
Mm.
but anyway, so like there's that too, but there's also how Thai people do look at foreigners as well, and you know, and because I could understand both languages, sometimes I could kind of hear them talking, and and just I would talk back in Thai to the people like, oh, they're hungry, big deal. Like, or, for example, when Thai people kind of make fun of foreigners for not being able to eat spicy, and it's
Mhm.
like, so what? Like that's not what they eat from where they're from. Like, big deal, you know?
Yeah.
But, sometimes for me though, it did get a little bit uncomfortable because I know my Thai isn't the clearest, but I would say it's good enough for me to get around, But
Hmm.
sometimes it would get to the point where I would use it and they would look at me kind of funny, or they'd make fun of my accent. And it's almost like they're talking down on me, looking down on me, but they don't realize it because they're not used to it. They don't realize it because they don't see this kind of thing very often. And, Thailand, it's not exactly a free country. So of course they can't travel and they can't go to wherever they want to go. And some people don't have the financial means to be able to do that, They- So, sometimes they would kind of make fun of me because of my accent, and
Hmm.
how I would talk. So it started to get to the point to wherever I went, I just started talking in English because I didn't want to hear them making fun of my Thai, you know. And then
Mm.
it's a bit of a double standard because they would make fun of me because of my Thai, but then again, they want to learn English. And then when they want to learn English, you know, we try to help them because we want them to learn. Foreigners want Thai people to learn English. Anybody who taught English want they want you to learn English, right? So of
Yeah.
course I would be very understanding, but no, it's okay. Keep going, I can understand you, we'll help each other out, you know. So I was always really friendly. My friends and I were always really friendly about it, and we try
Hmm.
to make them not, we try to make them feel comfortable and not shy about it. Cause we know once you guys get shy, you guys just pull back and you cave in, and you don't want
Yeah.
to come out of that fucking shell. But we don't want that. We want you guys to keep trying. So it kind of felt like, oh, so it's okay for you to speak in English and we can't make fun of you. But when we try, it's okay for you guys to make fun of us, you know?
Mm.
So that's how it felt sometimes. And yeah, so that's why sometimes I got to the point where I wouldn't speak Thai and I would just speak in English because I started to feel insecure, you know?
I see.
And, yeah, and then when I would do that, people would be like, oh, you're not Thai? Like you speak English. And sometimes I would just kind of lie about it. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm Japanese or I'm Korean. just to, just
Japanese.
to throw, yeah, just to throw them off, because I didn't want to hear. Because if I said I was Thai, but I spoke in English, then they'd be like, oh, you're Thai, but you don't speak Thai, and then it'd be a whole nother thing, and
Mm.
yeah, but there's also a thing where it trips them out if you're not if you don't have blue eyes, or if you don't have colored eyes, if you're not tall, if you don't have light skin, if you don't have blonde hair or brown hair, and and you're speaking in English, then they're kind of like, "What are you?" I've experienced that too, where I'd just be speaking in English and people would be like, I've had Thai people literally tell me, "You speak English, but you're not white. Why don't you have blue eyes? Why don't you have blonde hair? Why aren't you tall?" Or this and
Aw.
that. Yeah, so then I would straight up tell them, you know, there are other parts of the world where you can be Asian and grow up there and live there, and be born there, you know. So, and then they would kind of get it. Like, because I taught English, right? And I would have to meet some educators and stuff like that. And of course, because we're foreign teachers, we're teaching English. Your staff, your school would like you to speak in English to these educators that you have to meet during meetings or exhibitions or open houses or whatever, right? So of
Yes.
course I talk in English, but they would look at me like I was some kind of experiment that went wrong. Why is this short Asian person talking to me in perfect English? And they would kind of look at me and they would talk to me very briefly. And then they would talk to my coworkers or my colleagues just because they fit. that image. And of course, I have nothing against my friends, my foreign friends, because
Mm-hmm.
they did nothing wrong.
Okay,
But
okay,
it
okay.
would, yeah, it would make me feel insecure sometimes, because it's like, hey, I work here too. I speak English. I am a native speaker, and I have my set of skills and my talents too, But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there were times where there'd be educators, they would literally walk right past me after our like one of our seniors have introduced us to
Mm-hmm.
these educators, and they have walked right past me to shake the hands of my colleagues, and I just kind of stand there like, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, there were some harsh times, and of course, I never brought it up to my friends because it was not a big deal. But just talking about it for the sake of the podcast, about how there's
Mm-hmm.
a double standard, and there were times that it was a bit hard for me because I'd have to bite my tongue sometimes, and I'd have to just swallow it because there were things I wanted to say to these people, that would just kind of look down on me just because I didn't fit the image. But
But
because I worked there, I had to represent my school.
mm.
I just smiled and was like, yeah, it's okay. Even though I worked here the longest, it's okay. But it's okay, like, it's over now.
Yeah, it's over now. Yeah.
Yeah. But, other than that, if you're a foreigner, you're going to travel to any country, read up about the country, read up about the people, learn about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're going to get to know them. This is going to make your experience in a foreign country better for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and, and like, suggestion for Thai people, like Thai citizens, or whoever's in Thailand, don't just judge a foreigner by how they look, like, that was
Yeah.
one thing too, it's hard.
Mm. Wow.
But, it's going to be a long way until we all can, kind of come together. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But other
Okay.
than that, it was great. I loved my experience there.
Mm-hmm.
I love my friends that I made there. I love the people that I made. I love my kids, my students who are not students anymore, but they, now they're like my little brothers and sisters. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're such a good teacher.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. So that was your experience of teaching, or let's say that was your Thailand experience. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's say that. What if we, uh, like me, like as a Thai citizen, what if
Mhm.
I want to be a citizen in a foreign country, such as USA, let's say America?
Okay, so
Okay.
actually, to be a citizen here, I feel like it's a lot easier than it is in Thailand. Because I know in Thailand, as a foreigner, I think what you have to get married to. Oh no, even at that, you can't be a Thai citizen unless you're Thai, I think. But so here, basically, you have to be here. You have to live here for I think 10 years
ten
at most.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it depends on some cases. So I think some cases it's like 7 years or 4 years or whatever. But, after you get your green card, you have to show that you've worked here and you've established yourself here. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously you have to pay your taxes. but, um, but when you become a citizen, you have to take a test, and it's a pretty intensive test. It's like the history, and it's, you do a written test and you do, an interview as well. But if you're able to do all those things and pass, then that's how you get your citizenship. Once you become a citizen here, it's good,
Hmm.
you know. hmm
Wow, but 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, but you have to think like you're gonna be living here. You know what I mean? If this is where you choose to live, 10 years, honestly, it
Hmm.
seems like a long time, but it passes by so quickly, especially after you hit like what, your 20s. The time goes by so fast. I'm serious.
Yeah, it's gonna take some times, like 10 years. You say that it's gonna go past like very fast, right?
Hmm.
Well, and can we do like on and off, like be in America and then come back to Thailand and then go back to America, like on and off for 10 years? Can we do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So these 10 years, it doesn't mean that you have to stay here for 10 years, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you have a visa or a green card, you're able to go in and out of the country. Um, but for your visa, it depends on what kind of visa you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a tourist visa, for example. That's one of the most common
Mm-hmm.
visas. So tourist visa, it all depends. These visas, it's really up to how the embassies want to regulate you. So like a regular tourist visa, I think for the most part, it it's good for 10 years. So you
Mm-hmm.
can travel in and out of the US within 10 years. And on your visa though, you're allowed a maximum of like so many months, like maybe 1 month, 2 months. I think the most common one is 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You get to stay here for 3 months, but then you can't go over those, like you have to be exact. I mean, not exact. I mean, you can't even go a day over those 3 months. If you go even a day over those 3 months, you're gonna have problems with your visa. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So then,
Okay.
yeah, you come here, you hang out for like 3 months or 2 months. It's up to you, and then you can go back to Thailand, and then you have to stay in Thailand for 6 months, and then that's when you'd be able to travel again to the U.S. or whatever. But there's also work visas. So work visas, you're allowed to work in the US. On a tourist visa, you're not allowed to work. If they find out you're working, you're
Ah.
fucked. Yeah, you get in trouble. Yeah, because you're going as a tourist. You're not here to make money. But there's work visas where you're allowed to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also but if you get a green card means that you are a permanent resident.
Mm.
So as a permanent resident, you live here, you can work here, you can do whatever, but you're not a citizen yet. You can go back to your country for whatever, and then you can come back. But the thing is, the green card, they have an expiration date too. But yeah. So after you've been on your green card for like 10 years or so, then you can apply for your citizenship. But you
Mm.
have to be able to speak English because they will interview you in English.
Yeah. Do we
Yeah.
have to do a test or something?
Yes, you have to do a written test
A written
and you have to do
test.
an interview. Yes. So it's like
Oh,
the history of America and stuff like that.
wow. History of America. We
I
also
don't
have.
know how much history because from what I heard, the process of the test and like the questions and the interview, I heard that it changed. So I don't
Changed.
know how much harder or how much easier it is now. So,
Wow. Well,
hmm
if I want to be a citizen, I might have to take a class.
oh no, you'll be fine. Like honestly, if it's one thing I've learned from Thai kids is that you guys have to hit the fucking books. Holy shit, I have never seen so much studying like that in my life. I've seen that in college, not in high school. This is
Uh-huh.
ridiculous. You guys had like 8 freaking periods in one day. And
Mm-hmm.
how many texts? I saw your guys' notebooks, and that shit threw me out. Seriously, I lost my shit. I was like, "You're fucking kidding me. You're making my kids do this much work in 40 minutes." I wanted to burn those pages. I felt so bad for you guys. And I mean, come on. Those times when I would come into class or you guys would come to my class and you guys look so tired and I felt so bad. I'd be like, okay, just
Yes.
do this one question and then you guys can go to sleep. I felt so bad,
Yeah.
you know? And then the fact that like some of the kids would look at me like, it's okay, teacher. We'll be okay. You can continue. Like, I can't fucking continue when you're about to die. You're gonna die from heat exhaustion. It's hot. You guys just came back from like walking across the damn field. It is like 100 fucking degrees, and we
Uh-huh.
are in these concrete classrooms, which they feel like I feel like I'm in a pizza oven. Have you
Pizza.
seen a pizza, like a legitimate pizza oven?
Uh-huh.
The pizza oven, like it's a stone wall, and then there's the fire inside. I
Uh,
felt like we were all pizzas just baking. You know, that was bad. Maybe worse than that. You know what? Shit. There'd be times I wanted to take it. I would make my hand wet sometimes, and I would put my hand on the wall just to see how fast it would dry up. Holy crap. Jeez. You know, sometimes when your hand is wet, whatever's wet, right? You see the drops of water running down.
hmm
No. As soon as I touched that fucking wall, no water came dripping down. It just went, you know,
Yeah,
it was gone. Oh my God.
just become
It's just
gas.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was just like, there's a shadow and now it's gone. There it is and now it's gone, you know. My God, if you were to kill somebody and the blood splattered on the wall, it would dry up so quickly, you know. You wouldn't get any evidence. Ah,
Yeah. Well, talking about should we talk about this? Um, Education system of Thailand. Well,
mm,
it's even worse during this
oh,
pandemic,
I bet.
because we're taking online classes.
Right, well, I think that's how it is everywhere now, even over here.
Yeah, online classes.
Yeah, schools are
And
shut down, you know.
the book is still the same. Those
Ah,
books are still the same.
oh
Yeah,
no,
whatever grade, whichever grade you are, you grade
it's
12,
still the
you
same.
grade 10, any grade, you still have to hold like bunch of books, bunch of pages,
Oh my
like
gosh.
very, very thick books that you have to hold.
Wow.
And you also have to take online classes at the same time. You have to do homework.
Oh
You
my
have to do a
goodness.
conferences.
That's just too much. I think all
Yes.
my friends can agree with me about the education system in Thailand because this is one thing that
Mm,
we constantly just couldn't get over. Anytime we talked about the education system in Thailand, we all were just like, my goodness.
okay, okay. Let's get
I'm
to the point.
serious.
Let's get to the point. We're
Yeah.
going far off away again.
Are we?
Okay. Um, where are we?
The education system.
Citizen. Okay.
Oh, the
Le-
citizenship.
This, yeah, citizenship. Okay, about the citizenship.
Hmm.
So we have to be a citizen first, and then we can do like licenses, right?
No, actually, if you are a permanent resident, if you're on a green card, you can still get your license, your driver's license, because
Wow.
it's showing, yeah, it's showing that you live here. You know, you still get a social security card. You have to pay your taxes.
Mm,
You you're basically able to do almost everything except get the benefits of a U.S. citizen.
mm,
So yeah,
okay.
uh, yeah,
So if we if we have green cards, right, we can
yes,
do licenses. We can do driving license.
yeah. You can get your driver's license. Absolutely.
Can we do flying license?
Oh, you mean like to be a pilot?
Yeah, pilot license, not flying license. Yeah, pilot license.
That's okay. Um, I'm not too sure. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, because it's technically a job, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Can
it's
can we
technically a
get a job?
career.
Can we get a job there?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you're going to be a resident now, so you have to pay your taxes.
Okay, and it's time for a job, right?
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
So, what kind of job that I can do? Let's say me as Thai citizen that can do like
Well,
before I have a green card and after I have a green card. Let's say before I have a green card, what job I can do?
that depends because if you don't have a green card and you're here on a tourist visa, you're technically not allowed to do any kind of work
Okay, let's
because
say
you're
I
here as a tourist.
okay, let's say I'm doing a working visa.
So if you're doing a work visa, it depends. I mean, you can work anywhere just as long as your company shows that you're an employee at their company.
Okay, must be like
Hmm.
that, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
That's a work visa. Yeah.
Okay, and then if we get a green card, and then we can work
Yeah.
any job, right?
Anywhere. Yeah. If you get a green
Anywhere.
card, you can work anywhere.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so do you know any other countries that have like the same system?
As mine, I honestly don't. This is gonna sound so naive of me because I am not too sure. I bet. Oh God, I swear to God, if anybody else listens to this, like any of my foreign friends, they're probably gonna be shaking their heads. They're gonna be like, "Ray, you fucking dummy."
Hmm.
Yes, I'll admit it. I don't know too much about other countries.
Okay, okay. I'm to go as many people as I can.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Let's say I am a student and I want to be an exchange student there.
Mhm. So to be an exchange student, you would have to look up the requirements of your school as
Mm-hmm.
well as the university you would like to apply to in the other country,
Mm.
So, every university, they have programs, right? And then you would come here on a student visa. And what's unfortunate about that is that when your student visa is up, then you have to go back home, which is, it's really hard for a lot of students who are here on a student visa because,
Mm-hmm.
they grow to love places. I don't know every student, but the students that I have met that did come on a student visa, like it was really hard for them to know it was their last year and then they had to go back home because they loved it so much. And the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, when your student visa is up, you have to apply for a whole nother visa or a whole nother way to come back, you know. But
Mm.
yeah, most times though, to do these exchange programs, you have to have a certain GPA. You have to have, your grade have to be at a certain level, and what else? Like, well, for income, I think you could even get a scholarship though for those. You don't have to have a lot of money to be
Mm-hmm.
an exchange student though, because there's also, there's programs where it's like, what's it called? When you stay at somebody's house and stuff like that, and
Host.
um, thank you. Oh God,
Okay.
I know it sounded like horse.
Horse.
So
Horse.
I know it's like I was going. There was an H in there. Anyway, yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, you stay with the host family and stuff like that. Because I think those are pretty easy because with host families they would love to. They want to host you. They want to get to know this other country, and
Mm.
host families are really great because then you also have these people who genuinely, I don't know, genuinely, some people do it for money, but you do have these people who are genuine and they would love to get to meet you and they'd love to get to know about you and your country, you know,
Mm.
and, yeah, so I think host families are another great way of, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
visiting
Yeah.
another country. Yeah. And besides, with host families, they can take you around, they can show you around, they know best, than a tour guide, you know, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what tour you go on, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's cover a lot of being a citizen in a foreign country. No, no, not a
Well,
foreign
in my
country.
country.
Yeah, in your country, in America.
Yeah,
Well, okay.
but it's not the greatest right now. So
Mm. It's not the greatest right now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're not gonna talk about government. No. No. No.
yeah. As much as I'd love to, I'm not going to talk about politics.
No. Okay. Well, shall we call it a day?
I think so. Well, I'm going to call it midnight here. So.
Call it
Well,
midnight then.
I guess it's technically day. Well, it's not day, but it's the next day.
The next night.
Yeah,
Okay,
but this is fun. Yeah,
fun, right? So,
yeah, it's great.
all right. So we're gonna wrap up. Yeah, as we started at the beginning, we talked about your experience, right?
Right.
And then we talked about how Thai people treat foreigners,
Mm.
how discrimination there were when you were here,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and we ended it. I know it's over, Lay. It's over.
Yeah.
You deserve.
I mean, that's not a big deal, or whatever. But it's
Yeah,
okay.
that's not a big deal. Yeah, it have passed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a big part of your life.
it was.
Just another big part. There's gonna be
Yeah.
another big parts coming.
No.
No? What do you
Uh-oh.
mean? No?
What is this other big part coming? I'm kind of
Big big
scared now.
big part. Well, I mean, some kind of big moment.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope it's a good big moment. Do you know I'm getting money that I don't know about?
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh, that's nice.
yes. Okay,
All
we'll call it a day. We call it a
right.
night.
All right. We'll call it whatever we call it.
Okay, thank you so much for listening to us again here in the second episode of podcast. And
I hope you enjoy it.
yes, we hope you really enjoyed us for this podcast. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna
Yes.
be it's gonna be a lot of swear.
Ah,
I'll absolutely
oh.
censor, absolutely put some censors on it.
If you censor it, all you're gonna hear is bleep bleep
Beep
bleep
beep beep.
bleep bleep.
Well, I do nothing then.
Okay, yeah, just leave it because that's me. That's who I am.
Okay.
Everybody knows how much I swear.
You are a party mouth person.
Ah, gosh. I'm telling you, I really I held back though. There were times I was like, "Oh, it's gonna slip," but for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the kids, the children, you know.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah. At least we're not dead yet.
yeah,
And I'm one of your students. I'm still here doing
I don't
podcast.
know. Good. No,
Yeah.
you keep doing this. Is super cool. I support this.
Yeah. I'm not there yet. No worries.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You're not gonna die anytime soon.
Okay. Thank you so much for doing podcast with me today, Lay. Have
Thank you for having me.
okay.
Did we say that more than once?
Why?
No, I'm just wondering if we said that more than once. Did I say thank you for having me more than once?
I don't know. I'll check it again.
Well, shit.
I'll check it again. I'll check it again. I'll edit it out if you say it more than
All
once.
right.
No worries.
All right.
I'm a good editor.
I know you. I trust you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Goodbye. Good night.
Good night and goodbye and aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.